Yo, it's your boy Pix coming at you one more time, and I am back with another podcast. Unfortunately, I couldn't do one last week because things did not happen. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody who has been watching, everybody who's watched the podcast on YouTube, and who's commented, liked, shared, and hit the subscribe button, and also clicked on the bell icon. You guys are really appreciated. What is this podcast all about? Honestly, at this point, I don't want to really put a label to it, really, because it's still fresh, it's still new, it's still young. Um, but eventually, as it starts developing itself, as it starts going forward, more and more, it will start to create its own identity. But so far, so good. I think what we're trying to achieve really is to bring forth the minds of young people, youth. I'm talking about concepts about life generally, but also about what's happening around and in and around the world in South Africa and Rustenburg as we are shooting in Rustenburg. Without wasting any more time, I am not alone today. Before I even tell you actually who I'm with, this person, unlike the other person that I saw in the last podcast that I was co-hosting with in the last podcast, is a recent student of mine from last year. We traveled the world together. Let's just say we traveled the world together, created some films together, and he's a brilliant mind of a brilliant 2000 baby, a critical thinker and an out of the world thinker. He goes by the name of Amogelang Moatshe, aka Moshero. What's up, Moshero?
I'm
Holla
good,
back,
I'm
what's
good, I'm
poppin'?
good, I'm good, I'm good, man. I've been chilling at home. Yeah,
Din town, fan.
it's been tough out here. So, but then this is the time for me to come to the show and show the world what I'm all about.
Awesome stuff. Tell me a bit about yourself, Moshero. Who is Moshero? What is Moshero all about? And what do you hope to accomplish in this world, really?
Yo, what's my share all about? Okay, I'm a guy born and bred in Rustenburg. My mother is half Pedi, half Tswana. My father is full Tswana, yeah, and I grew up in Rustenburg in Tlhabane, a typical Kasi where all the children do all the naughty things.
Yeah,
Play knock and
you
runs.
included.
Yeah,
You included
obviously
for sure.
included, yeah. Plays things like knock and run and all those kind of games where you. But then I'm a guy who enjoyed his childhood, and I've grown up to become a critical thinker, like you said. I've learned from the best teachers that taught me in high school. I've learned from the best, and then I had to become the best also.
Awesome stuff. Tell us, you know what, a lot of us, or a lot of the kids who are out there, for instance, who are in school and are upgrading, don't really like talking about it. Tell me why you decided that this is the year for you to upgrade your studies and to get it to a point where you are most comfortable with.
You know, many people when they get an opportunity to do something, like we know high school it's a minimum 5-year course.
Yeah.
So during high school, you may stumble along the way, and then I had my own stumbles in my grade 11 where my marks started going down, but then I later recovered during the year and I managed to get into grade 12. Going into grade 12, I had to change subjects. With my change of subjects, I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna have to do some of my subjects 2 years because of matric. It's a 6 months course. It's basically like N1 and N2.
And people don't understand that.
And people don't know that the pressure that's in that part of the 6 months from January to June, it's very high.
Awesome, Mosher. Awesome. So today, honestly speaking, um, was not planned 100%, but I believe that things that happen unplanned become the best sort of things. Without even having to waste any more time, the topic that you're going to be diving into, and thank you so much, Mosher, for coming through, is
Sure.
fame. Fame. What is fame, really? Mosher, what is fame to you?
I think fame is when you are talked about for a notable achievement or something where people recognize you for a certain thing, and then because of when you achieve something in life, people tend to upgrade your level, and then they look at you as a public figure instead of a normal person anymore. So it is, I think fame is when you are talked about or when you are shown a certain amount of love for a certain notable achievement that you have achieved.
Awesome stuff. That's very intense right there. What does fame mean for me, actually? I think fame, man, is just having a lot of people who give a damn about what you have to say or what you do. Having a lot of people who listen, look up to you, who see a role model in you, and decide to give you their attention and their time. For me, that's what fame actually means. But one thing that we do not talk often about is what fame does to you as a person. I mean, we're not born famous.
Yeah.
No one is born famous. I think, well, unless you're a Kardashian
Yeah.
or like you are a royalty or like a kid of a famous person. But the majority of human beings are not born famous. So, what are the effects, or what does fame do to you? How does it affect you? How does it affect your friendship circles? How does it affect your relationship? What do you think about fame? What do you think fame actually affects you as a person, or what's your take on that?
Yes, of course, fame does affect you, but then the way it affects you depends on the environment you grew up in. For instance, there are people that's why we've got shows like I Blew It and things like that, where people started getting instant money and then they started spending it on useless things. The next thing they regret, and then they have to go to shows to be an example to the upcoming young generation that you can't do this and this when you get money. Yeah, I think fame does affect you very much, both psychologically and also including your friends, your relationships around you. How it affects your relationships may depend on the kind of person you are. For instance, there are people that when they get money, the first thing they think, or when they start getting noticed in the society, the first people they think of is their background. They have to fix first at home, and then build their houses. Then that's when, after this stage is done, that's when they start looking forward to supporting themselves and spoiling themselves with certain things. But then friends, yeah, many people, when money starts flowing in and you start being noticed, many people come through.
Of course,
they want a piece of a meat.
They want a piece of the pie.
They want to have something also. But
Yeah.
then the way it affects you depends on the person that you are. For instance, somebody may be able to notice that, you know what, this friend is a taker, not a giver. But some other people, because of the environment that they grew up in, they don't notice such things. That's why they end up suffering. Then at the end of the day, they end up feeling like they never risen from the ashes.
For sure. I think you've said it, man. I think it really is about who you are. But also, I'm one to say, like, it doesn't matter if you had the best values or if you're like the sweetest person on earth. When you get money, something changes about you, because like you said, people start making themselves your friend. You know what I mean? Like, people start coming to you, they start expecting you to do things for them. You start getting unnecessary attention from girls, boys, whatever your preference is, and because you're not used to getting so much for free, you know what I mean? Something in you changes. I mean, imagine you are just some guy from Kokasi, chilled guy, comes from a good family, papa pasta, and your mom is a traditional woman, the yeboba kind of lady. So you're a humble person, and most of the time girls don't really go to humble guys. I don't know, I'm just generalizing here, no offense ladies, but girls don't usually go to like humble guys per se. So you don't get the girls and whatever. Next thing, famous DJ, performer, artist, whatever. Now you're traveling the world, you're making the bank, you're in Britain, you're in whatever. Then you start making the bank, and then all these girls are coming at you. The hot ones are coming at you. And because you're somebody who doesn't, for instance, know, who's not used to that lifestyle, even though your morals bring you out of it, somehow that has affected you. And then if you lose the money, you're never going to be the same again. You're going to know people now for sure. Because I think humble people don't know. Most humble people don't really get to know the craziness that other people, or the crazy extents that other people can go to in order to make sure they get a piece of the pie. That's just my take there. But I do believe that for sure, fame has to change you in no relationships. But also, it's different for us, for black people, as it is for white people, as it is for another kind of people. Like you said, most of us come from humble backgrounds, and you're dragging everyone. Yeah, you're coming with your cousins, coming with friends, family. I mean, like, if I had to leave here and I was like some famous guy, even the lady who sells at the shop expects you to take them out from that point to another. So do you think it's a good change, or is it a negative change?
Or you have to drag everybody with you.
I mean, like, just changing from fame. When does it become negative? When does it become toxic?
Toxic when you start to lose yourself. Because of many people, when after getting the fame that they've been looking for, or the breakthrough that they've been looking for, they start losing themselves. And then that comes back to affect you psychologically. That's why it becomes toxic. But then dragging everybody with, I think that's too much. I think you need to start first by helping those close to you, family, siblings, maybe cousins and all that.
So what happens now when they go to the media and say, why born a diamond, go to hotel and go see, yada. When they start doing that and you're dragging your family, what then? Because I mean, that has to affect you somehow in terms of like your presence in the media. I mean, media will chow that up, especially if you don't know what's happening. Media will chow that up. And how do you think or how do you think one can deal with such things? If you're looking at your family only, and then yet Mhlabo is like, hey,
no, I'm not saying look at your family only, but then start at home first. And then after building a solid foundation at home, that's when you can start including the community at large. Because of there's no way I can be able to drink 24 beers at a tavern or a pub, but then when I get home, there's no bread. It does not make sense.
For sure.
I need to start by fixing my background first, and then after fixing my background, after building a solid foundation, that's when I can start building thoroughly through into the community.
Cool. So you do definitely believe that it is your responsibility somehow, as per someone who's gone out of the community.
Yeah, it's because you know what they say, it takes a village to raise a child. So and if you look at it from an African perspective, I think that's correct, because of that it takes a village to raise a child. Because of when you grow up, not only as Africans, your mother she's not the only mother to you, but then all the other mothers in the community are also mothers to you. That's why they've got the right to reprimand you in the community, to help you and guide you so that you can go into the right paths and avoid nasty things on the sides.
Cool. So what about me, somebody who grew up? Yes, I saw the community, for instance. Like, I saw the community. Like, they were there. I saw them. Some of them definitely here and there. But I mean, I was in the house most of the time. I wasn't allowed. Not that I wasn't allowed, but they didn't recommend that I go outside. I didn't like a lot of people. So technically, I was only raised by my family, like my immediate family, for the majority of my life. Do you think it's still my responsibility, though? Just thinking outside the box, you think it's just my responsibility, or giving you a different perspective, for me to do good for the community at large? Even though, I mean, like whatever the case is this still my responsibility?
I still think it's your responsibility by helping the other person. Sometimes there's no need to help other person because of they've helped you before, but then just you taking out your values into the community and making your community a better place to stay in.
That's dope. Props to that. No, I'm just asking. I'm not saying that I will leave my community behind. I'm just asking. I just want to know, because we all have our own minds about it, and there is no right answer to this, really, because fame, it just comes through, and then when it does come through, you have to deal with it, just like anything in life happens. Cool. Do you think there are any long-lasting psychological effects to being famous for a long time? For instance, if I'm famous today, I mean, you don't change within 2 days. You could be excited and do some stuff within the first 2 days. But let's say somebody has been famous for 10 years. I've been famous for 10 years. It's what I know. I live in my big mansion in Santon or wherever, Belito, whatever. And like, do you think that if I'm famous for that long, psychologically, do I change? Do I have to change? Should I try not to change? What do you think is the effects really of long-term fame psychologically?
I think you need to change,
Mm.
but then you need to change for certain reasons.
Mm.
Like, for example, you need to adapt to the lifestyle that you've just got into, and you need to know how to maintain it. Because of even success is not the difficult thing to get, but then how you maintain it,
Yeah.
that's the difficult part of it.
Mm.
So I don't think you need to change like the whole kind of person that you are, but then you need to change certain things. First, you need to adapt to the kind of lifestyle that you are living now. Secondly, you need to change how you think. Because of you must remember this, coming from a humble beginning.
Yeah.
The only thing you always thinking kahasli mood. As long as I can get this cash so that I can be able to pay up this and this and patch this holes here and fix this and this. But then once you have yeah, you need to change how you think. Because of you've got everything, you need to start thinking the way forward. I've covered everything that I've needed to cover, but then I've still got this big chunk of money left. What do I do with it now? So I'm not saying change you need to change, but then don't change the whole person that you are. Because of for instance, when you mentioned the right thing about the community, like growing up inside the house.
Yeah.
Let's say that you are famous now. You grew up in the house and you don't help the your community, and then at the end of the day, all the money is gone, all the friends, all the people that you knew are gone. Depression sticks in.
You have to go back home.
You have to go back home. What happens then?
Mpakathi mo wena.
Phakathi mo wena re mmone
Sala ra go
ntse re
bona.
mmona.
Di kae? Di zaka-zaka.
Dikoloi tse re ke bo di mama.
Dibanke di tsere dikoloi.
Banka tse re dikoloi ntlo ile mosadi o ile na tsamaya di slave queen a re lebella go tlase. Wa bona re le wena, that thing also affect you psychologically, feels like depression. That's sorry. At the end of the day, we feel like you commit suicide.
So the depression, so you need to so what you're saying is that you need to kind of have like the skills psychologically to deal with anything really.
That comes
so to build on yourself really, like get famous, and if you're famous long time, don't forget where you come from. Don't get too comfortable in the fame really.
Yeah.
Don't be too famous to the point where you are sitting in that position like, never in my life am I ever going back there. So constantly doing things like that, like constantly thinking about how do I develop my community to become a better place, even though I'm not here. So I mean, giving money to somebody over and over doesn't do anything for them, right?
Yes.
So I think for sure the things like seeing if you can create bursary schemes or create financial situations or aids or development opportunities for where you come from would be a great way of giving back to a community without you having to take out from your money on your pocket all the time. Because I mean, it's not realistic having to take out money from your pocket 24/7. Yeah. How much money do you have? I mean, most famous people are famous, but they're not rich or wealthy. It takes a long time to create wealth. But I think you're right. Psychologically creating that space for yourself to constantly understand and know the kind of person that you are, where you're from, where you're going, and not really being in the space where you are super comfortable in that richness that you forget what is the point of what it is. Why are you even famous? That leads me to my next question, really. So let's say today, Moshero, Wapopa, some guy, something happens, Nje. The next few days, you are on the television. Like, let's say you're on TikTok or whatever. Today, you decide, I'm going to be on TikTok. You post a video. 2 million views, 300,000 followers, endorsements left, right, and center. Hey, I need you here, I need you there. I need you to be traveling here and there and there. What do you do when the bank and the fame starts coming to you? What is the first thing that you think that you would do for yourself as a famous person? Today, you know what I'm famous. What will you do from there?
Personally,
Personally, yeah.
First of all, I'll seek advice from people like you. You know, you've been famous.
No, I was about to go, and it's gonna be all cocky, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll seek advice from people like you who've been there before, people who've went through this stage before me, so that I know what's best for me, and I know what will drag me slow, what will hold me from keep on going forward.
Yeah.
So I'll start by seeking advice, and then after seeking advice, look at myself deeply, and then see the person that, because I know the person that the kind of person that I am, and then I look onto the kind of person that I am, and then I try to match the kind of person that I am with the advice that I got, in order for me to keep going forward.
So research.
Yeah.
Research. Don't just jump in. Yeah. Don't just jump in.
Stuff over, fella.
So cool. So what would you say the comfortable amount of money for you would be for you to consider yourself rich and famous? How many, like, yeah, what would be considered or what would you consider to be a famous person, or how would you consider yourself to be famous? What is the thing that would have to happen to you for you to say that you're famous, and how much money would you have to say, "Hold on, I'm rich and famous"?
And I don't know what is different, or yeah, but then not being rich and famous, it's not all about money. It's all about being able to help other people become the people that they want to be.
But that's in the long run, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many followers do you think you would have to have for you to consider yourself famous? Let me rather put it that way.
I'd say 100K upwards.
100K upwards.
Yeah.
And how much money do you think a person with 100K upwards following, in the beginning, should at least have for you to feel the fame? Personally.
In rents.
In rents, for sure, in rents.
Roughly 1 to 5 million.
1 to 5 mil. Damn, do you hear that, TikTokers? If you don't have 1 to 5 million, you're not rich. I'm just joking, though. Awesome. I don't know. For me, fame. What I want, I think. If I were to consider myself famous, I don't consider myself famous at all. Even when I was on Mambara and I was on TV and people were recognizing me on the streets, I didn't consider really myself famous. I would consider myself famous if I'm on the level of, let's say, your Caspers, Paul Tusi, like A-list celebrities in South Africa, but also the max that the cap in which if I looked at my life and I was like, yeah, I'm famous now, would be your Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian famous. Now those people are famous, and that's real fame. I mean, fame is power, to be honest. Fame is a lot of power, and a lot of people don't know or don't feel it or misuse the power or don't even care that they have got that much power. Like you were saying, it's not really about the money, and I get that. And I feel that, and I 100% agree. For me, it's about, and I'm going to come back to you and ask you what you meant, but what you were, to elaborate more on saying what a fame is not about money. But for me, it's about how much control you have over a thing, how much change you can create. I mean, if the Kardashians today decided to go, oh my God, ring lights are so last year, we're using spotlights now. Trust me, people are ordering spotlights that day.
Obvious.
People are ordering spotlights because people believe or people look up to really, really famous people. I mean, if Casper decided his enemy is AKA you, which I'm not saying it is, but if he decides that's his enemy, a lot of Casper followers will go, yeah, we stand Casper. That's our guy, right? And a lot of AKA followers will be like, we stand AKA. And they'll be in betweens, like, I don't really want to choose sides or whatever the case is. But that's the power of being fame. The power of change. And it can either go negative or positive. How would you use that power? Like you were saying something about not even being about money. So what is it really about for you?
Like I said, helping the other person. For example, I'm going to make an example. Ka DJ's Boo. DJ's Boost is helping other people a lot. He goes into communities. I know that maybe sometimes it may be for business, but then more fire, he's helping people get more fire.
Yeah.
So like that's why I said I don't think fame is about money and all that, but it's about the change that we can make on the other person's life.
Yeah.
That's what I think fame is. For example, let's say today I've got 100 billion in my account.
100 billion. Jesus.
And then I wanna imply change. We get a guy score. Get a guy score. We fix. That's changing in the country because of people who live in informal settlements, South Africa, or in villages don't have the capability of having things like, not that they're not capable, but then they're not financially, economically capable of buying things like with the generator, your solar panels and all that. So load shedding affects those people mostly than those who live in townships, in suburbs and in complexes and all that. So I would rather help those people when they are suffering because of their kids there, they are breadwinners in those kinds of settlements, environments. They are people who are looking to become better people in the future, but then they can't because of there's a big stumbling block in between the people that they are now and the people that they want to become in the future. So I'd rather use my money to help the people that are suffering, the multi-millions of South Africans that are suffering, who live in informal settlements, who live in below inflation standards, because inflation is going high every now and then. So I'd rather help those people become better people than, because of one thing that people don't know, when change is there in your life, you start changing also how you think.
Yeah.
And with changing how you think, you change your life to become a better person.
Awesome. I think that's some powerful words. Those are powerful words. I think for a 19-year-old, right? He is 19, by the way. For a 19-year-old to be thinking about other people instead of themselves is amazing. You know what I mean? Because honestly speaking, not a lot of people who come from places of like struggle or places of like humble beginnings, like you put it, or even just in general, young people think about what they would do to help other people. So I commend you for that, and I hope that when you do get the bag, when you do get the money, and when you do get the fame, that you actually do implement some of that stuff, because sometimes we forget. Sometimes we have brilliant ideas that we speak about and that we want to do and whatever, but when you have like 100 billy, like you said, in your pocket, and then you can quite possibly buy anything that you want on this planet, life would be so difficult. But it's easy to just get lost in the fame. It's easy to get lost in that, and I commend you for your broad thinking. Any last words to anyone watching the podcast or watching this YouTube channel? What do you have anything to say to the youth, to anybody? Any last words? Any powerful thoughts?
Keep doing yourself. Anything is possible in this world. Everything is achievable. There's nothing that, there's no any amount of struggle that can stop a determined person from achieving the things that they want to achieve.
Yeah.
No matter how long it takes, no matter which route you take, but then as long as it leads you to the end goal, take it.
Awesome stuff. And I'm pretty sure Moshora doesn't mean keep doing yourself. For those of you who are thinking about doing
yourself.
So keep doing you, but don't do you. If you get what I mean. If you don't get it, forget about it.
Tango.
Thank you so much, Moshora, for coming through. I think a lot of people are gonna watch this and are gonna be quite intrigued with the points that you gave out today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you over. I wish I had the full setup here so I can hit the whole beep. But eventually retro again ako
Unbox soon.
Soon. Please check out the unboxing that's coming up soon. Also, please go check out on my channel. If people lastly, if people want to get a hold of you, people want to go follow you, people want to make you famous, where do they get you?
Amogelang Moatshe at Facebook, Yeah, and then we'll take it on from there.
So Amogelang Moatshe on Facebook. The name should be down here somewhere. I'll also put it in the description. Put a link to his profile as well, so you can go check it out. He puts a lot of funny stuff up there. So the kind of personality that you see here is probably going to be different from what you see there. Please follow, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, share, and then comment if you have anything to say. I would really like to hear from the youth and in general from everybody. It's your boy Pix coming at you one more time, and this has been our second podcast. Hopefully soon we'll take it to Spotify, we'll take it to iTunes if they have, whatever, to all the channels that you would
Even Google has podcasts.
Exactly. So you have we'll try and get it to as many of those as possible as soon as we get the equipment and all the things that are required for that. It's been great. Holla at your boy. Peace.